My name is Insane Raven, and this is another episode of Tales of the Hunt, the bi-weekly podcast where I come over and I talk about a platinum trophy I have gotten, giving you a trophy by trophy discussion about what it takes to get the platinum trophy in a video game. In today's episode, we are talking about Persona 5, a game that I honestly shouldn't have picked up to begin with, but at the time I was making video content and I was like, hey, this will be an interesting thing to do. This looks like nothing else I've ever played before. Why don't I pick this up and see where this goes? And you know when I picked that up? I picked that up on release date of September 15th, 2016. Guys, this game is 5 years fucking old. Nothing else could have hurt my chill than learning that this game was 5 years old. It fucking broke me for a minute. And I'm past the 30-second mark, so YouTube can go fuck itself. My name is Insane Raven. This is Tales of the Hunt, the podcast. I've already done the intro. And my mind still hurts. My mind hurts at the idea that it's been 5 years since the original Persona 5 game came out. Like, I've already platinumed and talked about Persona 5 dancing on the show as my mesotheophobia month. As one that kind of like changed it up, being coy, alluding to the fact that I would one day platinum this game. But sorry for the hiccup. It took a tale of a global pandemic just to give me the time to go back and play this game, because I platinumed this game in 2020, 4 years after it came out. Let me see. Almost, yeah, on 5/26/2020 is when I platinumed this game. So it was a minute after. I absolutely fell in love with Persona 5. I fell in love with the characters, the world, the everything that Persona 5 was dishing out, to the point that when I was doing weekly vlog type videos, just giving you guys updates on my life, because I felt like that was important, a segment was just talking about Persona 5. Like, I loved this game. It went from a game that I picked up just because, you know, I thought it'd be fun to pick up for the channel, to a borderline obsession that I played through that I eventually did put down for a little bit. I think it was right after Haru. I know I put it down after after Futaba for a little bit. And then the last thing I remember was putting it down for Futaba for a little bit, and then picking it back up for the actual Platinum Hunt. This game is going to require you to play it through 2 times completely, and that is if you're doing it absolutely perfectly. I didn't, so I ended up playing through this game 3 separate times. And because it is a JRPG, the first time I've ever platinumed a JRPG, so making this the first one from a JRPG, if we're keeping track with old naming conventions, one of the things that was really important, at least when discussing this game, and at least when discussing Persona, is who's the waifu. The waifu of the first playthrough was Takamaki. The nurse. I'm not sure if I said that right, and I'm sorry if I said it wrong. The gothic nurse was my first love, followed by Makoto in my second love. And then I think in my third playthrough, I don't think I had a love. I think I played that one friendship-wise. No, Anne. On. I played it with On. On was my third love for my third playthrough. Because my first playthrough, I didn't know what I was doing. And I never played a Persona game before. So I fucked that up from my trophy hunting perspective. I did all of the kind of like miscellaneous ones of getting a home run, catching the Guardian of the Pond, killing the Grim Reaper, all this kind of stuff. Stuff that I'm going to go more into detail in later in this podcast. But that's what I did there. My second playthrough was just focusing on getting all my confidence 100% with some of the New Game Plus stuff that I had, making some of that easier, to just completing Compendium and doing that kind of stuff. In my third playthrough, I did specifically just to read all the books and play all the video games, which took me borderline to the right up to the end of the palaces and the playthrough as well. So I'm now going to kind of go through. I'm not going to talk about spoilers because this is, I'm not joking, a 300 plus hour hunt. This was a game that if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have never platinumed this game. And I love this game. Like, I love this game so much that it is a game that I now use a icon from it as my PlayStation profile icon. Like, I love this game. I love this game so much. I decided that I debated for a while getting the Joker mask tattooed on my arm because I love this game so much. I love this game. And if you ever want to pick up just a JRPG to kind of understand what it's like, this is the game I would recommend. Persona 5, even though like it doesn't need to be said because every publication has showered pounds upon pounds upon pounds of praise, I can't even be fucking like objective about it, even though I'm going to try really hard to be objective about it. Especially when it's coming from a trophy hunting and a platinum hunting perspective, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. But I want to just spend this time right now to explain that I fucking love this game. I listen to the music and remixes of the music as I'm longboarding. I love this game. Okay? Like, full stop. Not going anywhere else. I played the fucking dancing game because I love this game and I love the music and I love the characters. I platinumed the dancing game because I love this game and I love these characters, and I did it happily. Like, guys, there hasn't been a game since Life is Strange, the original Life is Strange, that I have fallen so hard, madly in love with. Like, I can't. I fucking can't, guys. So let's go about this. Soul of Rebellion is a campaign trophy. It is the first campaign trophy, and it is the first trophy you're gonna get, full stop. And they kind of put it in perspective that this is like the give me trophy, essentially, of Persona 5. Only 82.6% have this trophy. Like, I'm not going to tell you what you do to get it because it is a campaign trophy, and this is a game that if you're going to platinum it, you deserve every single surprise and gift that this game has to give you, especially because you're looking at like 300 hours worth of content here. I'm not going to spoil fucking anything. But that's Soul of Rebellion. I Am Thou is another campaign trophy. It's a tutorial trophy, so you will get this. It is just gonna happen. Put it in the perspective, it went from 82.6% from the first Give Me trophy to 74.2. Like, we're talking massive drops. Alright? Like, massive. Then there's the Skilled Gunman trophy. Defeat 3 or more enemies with a single round of bullets, which there are enemies in the first dungeon. I'm going to call them dungeon. I'm going to call everything as neutral terms as I can. That's why I'm calling them dungeons. I know they raw. Don't spoil it. If you know what they are, we're just going to move past it, right? We're moving past it. Thank you. There are enemies that are weak to bullets. So just find those enemies, get them in a group, and defeat 3 or more of them in a single round. If you can't do it in the first dungeon, what you can do is that you can take on a New Game Plus route, go take your higher level weaponry and gear, which you get to keep on, and just use that when you come back to the first dungeon. Is it how I did it? No. Is it a method? Yes. So there you go. Precise Insight. Explode enemy weaknesses 100 times. You will get that so easily. Like, I don't even think... I'm still in the first dungeon at this point, guys. Like, you will get this trophy. Not even a problem. Perform... Execution leading to rebirth. Perform a guillotine execution. I'm going to talk more about executions and guillotines and all that stuff in a later trophy. But this is one that you would think would just be like whatever type thing. But this ends up being a signpost trophy. If you're new to the podcast because it's Persona 5, hi, my name is Insane Raven. This is Head of the Hunt. I've already done the intro. Welcome back. But a signpost trophy is more of here is a term that I use to say that this isn't the final trophy you're going to get in this category. It is just an indicator that you're on the right path. That is all it is. So next. Competent negotiator. Successfully rescue a hostage from an enemy's threats. I don't remember doing this often. I think I did this as a part of a tutorial, but I honestly do not remember. I do not remember doing this at all. I did this 3 years ago on this set in 2017. Maybe I just picked it up in 2017. Because all these beginning trophies on my first playthrough was back in 2017. So maybe I didn't get it day one. I don't know. I have a lot of things to question about myself right now. But moving on. I'm not going to say with this next trophy, the sneaky one, ambush the enemy 50 times. You're going to get that all before the first dungeon. Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to say what this trophy is actually called, but it's for completing the first dungeon. Because as I'm looking at the title of this trophy, it is a bit of a spoiler. And especially as I kind of go through and complete more, and we talk more in depth for more of the dungeons, I think you can kind of see what I mean by that. But this is it's for completing the first dungeon. If you're doing a full playthrough, you're gonna get this trophy anyway. Do not worry, it's not missable. Moving on. Phantom Thieves formed. This is for forming the Phantom Thieves. It is a campaign trophy. You will get it. It is immissable. Do not worry about it. The reason why I'm talking about this trophy is because I feel like if you know anything about Persona 5, you know this. Even with Joker being in Smash Bros. And Catherine, there might be a good chance that you don't even know anything about Persona 5. But you know about Joker and you know about the character. You probably know what this is. So, it's not a spoiler. There you go. Perfect combination. This is for performing 50 all-out attacks. You will get this as a matter of time. I have no doubt in my mind that you will get this as a matter of time. Next trophy is Power That Connects. Perform a baton pass 3 times in a single turn. Now this trophy is going to be got by just being aware of what weaknesses your enemies have, and by playing off of that. You have a team of 4 players, like is tradition in most JRPGs. Japanese role-playing games, for those of you who do not know. I probably should have said that earlier, but welcome to a gaming podcast. There are certain things about gaming I just expect you to know. I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. Moving on. And by using those weaknesses, you get an extra turn, which is called a baton pass. If your bond and if your relationship has been built up with these characters, you can use the baton pass. Now, you need to be leveling these up as just a basic gameplay mechanic of the Persona series, but using the baton pass requires you to get the teammates up to a certain relationship level, and then comboing enemy weaknesses so that you can get every single character a turn as a bonus move. Again, I'm trying to use as vague terminology as possible, just because this is a game that you're going to put so much time into. I fully believe that if you're going to platinum this, you should have every surprise for you. Alright. The next trophy is for completing the second dungeon. Not a big deal. Our top countless sacrifices is for performing a gallows execution. This is for... I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, this is for upgrading, leveling up one of your personas by sacrificing another one. I don't think I ever did this again, to be honest. I think I just did it once, and then that was it, and then moved on. Alright. The city's hard hitter hit a home run at the batting cages. Now, I do want to take a moment right here and talk about how Persona works. Persona works by dividing the game up into two main sections. I've already alluded to one of the sections earlier, which I haven't discussed at all, which is the social aspect. It's the hanging out with friends, building up those bonds, those relationships. It's going around and doing, for lack of a better term, self-improvement on your personal character in different ways around town, so that when you go into the dungeon crawling, the other meat and potatoes part of the game, you have extra abilities, extra moves, extra stamina, and just things that you're able to do. So in the city of Shibuya, there are batting cages around, specifically in the little town that you start out of in the game. And by getting a home run, you're able to get the city's hard hitter trophy. Every time you visit the batting cages, it ups your proficiency, and it is worthwhile doing, especially on your first round if you haven't gotten the trophy yet, to do it there and to upgrade your proficiency, which you need to do anyway to max out all your social stats. This is an easily missable trophy, as it's not something that you're required to do really at any point in the game, but it is worth noticing and pointing out. Next trophy is for completing the third dungeon. After that, it's the beginner Phantom Thieves for completing 5 requests. These are just your side trophies. They're anything. They'll get thrown to by different characters, by talking and negotiating with different characters. You will get these. For the most part, they're pretty easy if you're doing them as you continuously level up. I don't remember any of the side missions being all that difficult or anything that stunned me, but there are things to just be aware of that you have to do for trophy purposes. A Phantom Thief's duty is for obtaining a treasure demon. These are super rare creatures that only appear when your security is at an all-time high level, but not reaching max level, which kicks you out of the palace. I've said it now. I can't even smoothly transition out of that, but out of a dungeon. So there you go. Countless masks. Obtain 30 personas through negotiation, 30 little monsters through talking to them and getting them to agree to be on your side. My best partner. Enter a special relationship with someone. It wouldn't be a JRPG without some waifus, which I've already talked about at the beginning of the beginning of this podcast. By picking specific relationship-centric dialogue options when you get into later social ranks with certain characters or female characters, you will be able to enter into a relationship with these characters. Now, the Persona fans are absolutely wild with who they believe the best waifu is. I've already told you my top 3 waifus, with probably Makoto / An being the best, in my opinion. Because I feel like An has the most genuine care. You know what I mean? She's like, yes, no, I actually genuinely care about you as a character, not as I need to fill in the waifu portion of this game, which I feel like some of the other characters kind of fall into. But just my opinion. I look forward to hearing you all get mad at me in the comment section down below. Let me know what your best waifu is, and let me know why I'm wrong, and let me know why it's Makoto. Even though she was my second waifu, who I did date before I dated An. Moving on. A true confident, max out 1 confident, no big deal there. Next trophies for clearing out the 4th. Are we on 4th now? Can I count? How does counting work? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, the 4. The 4th dungeon / palace. You get this trophy. Aggressive searcher. Obtain 150 items from searchable objects in dungeons. You'll get it. Just keep aware of it. It's one of the ones that like it's very easy to miss if you're not aware of it. I got it in my 5th palette list, my 5th dungeon. So, a sublime experiments. Perform an electric chair execution. This is for itemizing one of your little monsters, your little personas. You will get a specific item. For rarer and better personas that you sacrifice, you will get an item. With weaker ones giving you kind of trash. But I think I did it once just to get the trophy and I moved on. Under the table goods, customize a gun. One of your relationship confidants is a man called Iwa. I believe I'm saying that right. If I'm wrong, I am sorry. I'm learning Japanese, but I don't speak it. Don't kill me. Please teach me in the comment section down below. He runs an airsoft gun shop called Untouchables, and by growing his confidant, you can unlock customization for your guns, one of the weapons that you and all of your partners have in the game. Next trophies for completing the 5th dungeon. Okay, and a unique rebel. Let's talk about this one because I love this one. You can do it legitimately, which legitimately it might be one of the hardest fights in the game. I can think of 3 other fights that just not 3 other. Really 1 other. Maybe 2. 2 other fights that just push your shit in. Like the Reaper hidden boss fight. Now, so if you want to do it legitimately, you're going to have to stack your buffs, stack your debuffs, use your blocking, use your, like, everything. You're going to have to pull out all the stops. If you want to cheese it, which I did, because fuck this fight, in my opinion, you can wait until flu season comes around. There are only like 3 days that flu season happens in the game. Once flu season happens, go to Mementos. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that is A-OK. It is what the Smash Brothers Joker map was based off of. Go to Mementos. Hang around until the Reaper appears. Once the Reaper has the despair status effect, he will commit suicide in 3 days. Now, is this a cheap way of getting this trophy? Yes. Is suicide never the option in real life? Yes. Does it get you a trophy that only 13.6% of all the players have? Yes. And I will talk about my fights with the Reaper in another episode. Probably. Maybe. If I ever do a top 10 list, I might. If I ever do like a top 10 podcast as like a little like for shits and gigs, I might do it. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Moving on. My backyard. Unlock all hangout spots in the game. This is a unique one. This is one that you can get by reading different books, different magazines, and raising your confidant levels. Really interesting, really fun. And it kind of just feels good to get. It's like, oh, I got it. Next one is for completing the penultimate? No. Just for completing the next dungeon. No big deal. Complete the next dungeon, complete your story, move on. I will say, if you've played this game and if you've been counting along, this is probably one of the most interesting ones, just as a part of as a aesthetic thing. It definitely has the best music out of the entire game, which is good. And then the next trophy we're going to talk about is Guardian of the Pond. Catch the Guardian of the Fishing Pond. This is a trophy I got, which you do need some tips to kind of take a hand of, and you need to understand how the fishing game works in this game. So what I recommend first is read the fishing magazine. You can get the fishing magazine by going to the second location that you can unlock that has a bookstore. This bookstore only opens up and gives you certain books by you doing specific actions. So you have to go do an activity, a side activity, waste half a day, come back, buy the book, then you can get proficient in that skill. It works from everything from the movie theater to the batting cages to the studying to the flower shop, side job to fishing. Read that. Then go on a rainy day. Then get the best fishing pole. This is going to set you up for the best possible chance to catch this beastie. Now, can you do it without doing all of that? Yes, you can. And it's a hell of a fishing story if you can. But you are going to need the top of the line baits. You are going to need all of that stuff if you want to make it easier for you. And this podcast is dedicated to reviewing and giving tips for trophies. So, if you want the easiest time of it, you have to do all that stuff. You have to go on a rainy day. You have to get the top fishing pole. You have to get the top bait. That one has to happen regardless of whether or not you want an easy time or not. You need the top baits for this. Period. You need to read the fishing magazine. These are facts. Alright? You're then looking for the biggest, baddest shadow in the fishing pond. So just keep in mind what's kind of going on when you're doing all of that. It was a great trophy, and I absolutely loved getting this one. Straight up. Nominating the twins perform a group guillotine execution. Group guillotine executions are going to be where you get some of the most powerful personas in the game. And it is 100% amazing. Like, my end team, I think, was mostly made out of group guillotine executions by the end of the game. Which is also not true. Like, number-wise, yes. Most of my guys ended up being group guillotine. But the one that used the most once, which was, like, you ended up using Narcissus a lot. I ended up using Clothro, which is a basic one. And I know I used King Frost, which is, yeah. But it's just weird. It's just weird like that. The Ultimate Strike, which you get for dealing over 999 damage in a single attack. Okay. Here's how you're going to do this. You were going to baton pass 3 times. You were going to up your attack ridiculously. You're going to critically raise your attack. I did this with On, with her Blazing Hell plus a concentrates plus, I think it was on the final. Was it on the final boss? It was either on the final boss or no, it wasn't, because I haven't unlocked complete the penultimate dungeon yet. So yeah, it was late game, is what I'm saying. And just stack up your attack buffs to the point that it is disgusting. Manipulate the baton pass system and you will get it. It looks like a much scarier trophy than it actually is. Just so you know. Passionate listener, here 250 of Futaba's navigation lines. Now this trophy is one where you need to be using all of your characters. You need to use different status effects. You need to get different status effects. You need to kill everyone. You need to kill everything. Very little. You need to, basically, if there's a line that you would think a character would comment on and make commentary on, you need to get that. And basically, you just need to keep doing it and keep doing stuff until you can pop it. In the end, it's not a hard trophy. It's just a trophy that is very easy to slip through the cracks, unfortunately. And And it is missable. It's one of the few missable trophies that don't feel like it should be missable, but there you go. Next trophies for completing the penultimate dungeon, for completing the final dungeon, and a new journey for finishing the game. So now everything that I'm about to talk about now is in a second playthrough. The New Game Plus. At this point, we're over 200 hours into the game, and we honestly have just begun. Some of the hardest things in the game lie here, and are just going to continue going as we go forward. Mask of an honor student. So you need to have your intelligence and your knowledge maxed out. You need to be erudite smart, and you need to get every single question right during your exam days. I got this trophy here because with my maxed out intelligence, I answered every single question right on the first season of exams, getting that easy peasy. I do want to just rewind real quick and say that it was after nominating the twins. From that trophy on is when I started doing it as a platinum hunt. That was 2020. So I didn't complete the final 2 dungeons before putting the game down and deciding to pick up something else. Okay. True talent. This is for maxing out all your social stats. I did talk about this previously in a little bit, but doing side missions and doing side activities, not side missions, but doing side activities, interacting with different characters, boosts up your social stats. It is the first half of the game that I talked about that ends up benefiting your second half of the game, of your dungeon crawling. Max out all of the 5 social stats and you will get the True Talent Trophy. Through one sentence, learn a new persona skill through lockdown. Now, there are a pair of characters that get a single social status quotient that by upping them, you can get the special ability of lockdown, where you can lock your creatures down and they can learn new tricks and moves by just staying in there for days. I do mean days. I do not mean a number of time of your play. I do mean in-game days. Having them learn a new skill through lockdown will pop this trophy for you. Merciless Executioner. Perform 50 persona fusions. Now, the fusions are where a lot of your time is going to go into, and just understanding how that works and understanding how many personas, how many creatures are locked behind the fusion system. I did not realize that the first time I played this game, and I missed out on a lot of content because of that. But hopefully, now that you know that, you can go forth with that knowledge and be in a much better position than I was when I first started this. Alright? Drink Fanatic. Buy every drink from vending machines. This includes the school vending machines, the hometown vending machines, the Osaka vending machines, and the Shibuya vending machines. Just hit them up. If you have a doubt, buy it again. Just 3 locations, you will get the trophy. Craft Worker. Create all types of infiltration tours. This is a trophy that you have to wait until a specific character tells you you now have the ability to craft all the tools, and you still need to grind out space and mementos, the Super Smash Bros. Fighting arena, to pick it up. It's just how it is. Like this is one of the rare ones in this game that requires a lot of grinding. And as we kind of continue, a lot of the remaining trophies are a bit of a grind and end up contributing to the 300 plus hours I put into Persona 5 Vanilla. So be aware, if I do get a little bit repetitive, that is why, because everything from here on out is a grind, and it's just no to the grindstone. You love it for the game. One who rebels against a god. Create a Sentinel. I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, and I'm sorry. But this is the ultimate persona in the game. This is a single persona who has null slash reflect almost every status effect in the game, has monster stats, and you need to basically raise most of your confidence up to rank 10 to even have a chance at creating this. You also need to have only able to do this on New Game Plus, making it absolutely impossible for casual players. And some of the future things that we're going to talk about are very much like that. Unless you're going to platinum this game, some of these trophies are just outright impossible to begin with. Unless you're going with the mentality of, I'm gonna 100% this game. Because that is, to an extent, what you have to do here. And with this being a JRPG, it's not going to be as easy as, well, you can just go to this location and pick up this. It's no. You need to craft, you need to understand how this works, you need to interact with these characters to get this stuff here, and then just grind it all out and then put it all together. It is a lot. Alright? A perfect job. Complete all side missions. Just do it. You're going to have to talk to a lot of your confidence to get it done. You're going to have to do a lot to do it before it's even an option to get it done. Beyond rehabilitation. Defeat the twins. Now, remember when I said earlier how there were only 2 boss fights I would put ahead of the Grim Reaper, or I would have matched the Grim Reaper? The twins is one of them. There is no cheesing this fight. This is just raw, you against the game. How well do you know your buffs, your debuffs, your weaknesses, your strengths? This is the fight in this game. The only other fight that comes close to this in the Reaper would be the final boss. And that is because of the amount of shit that gets thrown into that game, into that boss fight. It is not because the final boss fight is hard, it's because there's a lot of balls juggling in the air. That is it. This fight, the twins fight, to this day, I contend is one of the hardest fights I've done. Because there is no cheating it. There is no like, oh, you want a second chance? You want a moment of breathing space? Nah, man. You gotta think every single move through, and you gotta think moves ahead. We're playing chess now, motherfucker. This is gonna beat you hard. And if you're going in with a full team, I'll be like, oh, well, I can do this. No, because they manipulate that. They manipulate the fact that your teammates suck and have weaknesses. They will use that against you. And if you don't beat both of these characters within the same turn, they revive each other with half life. You're also on a timer, because if you take too long, they kill you. For shits and gigs. I love these 2 characters. The twins, 100%. I feel like if you're talking about Persona, if you're talking about actual Persona and everything the game is, not just the main cast of characters, but if you're talking about the game, you need to have these characters in them. I love these characters. I have a poster on my wall that holds these 2 characters. I have my PS4 background, all these 2 characters. I love these 2 characters. But bloody fucking hell is this boss fight difficult because of them. I love you guys, but man, you kick my shit in. Mask Collector. Complete the Persona Compendium. Again, this is impossible unless you are grinding out personas, unless you are understanding how fusion works, how to best maximize that, unless you are on a New Game Plus anyway because you have the crates at the nil. There is so much that you are going to miss, like I did, if you're just playing it haphazardly. This trophy can be a grind, or it can be really easy. It depends on how much you're using your compendium, how much you're being methodical when you're picking up characters, when you're picking up personas, and when you're sacrificing them and combining them to create new ones. This trophy is 100% up to you to see how bad you fuck it up. The next trophy. Great Phantom Thieves Convene. This is a trophy for maxing out your relationship with every character in the game. This is why I had to do a second playthrough. Despite all the other stuff, I had to do a second playthrough for this trophy. And because of how I played my first playthrough, I had to do a third playthrough for Bookworm, which is a trophy that you get for reading every single book in the game, and for Golden Finger, which is for completing all video games. Now, I tried to play this game very straightforward. I didn't want to cheese it. I didn't want to manipulate this game for the mechanics that there were. I argue that because the option to give the Reaper despair and the flu and have him commit suicide, I think it's fair. It is fair. It's cheap, but fair. Manipulating the day cycle because you couldn't beat a video game mini game in a video game, the word game has no meaning anymore, is cheesing it. And I did it. Because again, I'm not going to spoil it for those who don't know, but there's a certain fighting minigame, video game in this game that you're gonna want a bunch of tries on, and being that you have to get pretty far in the 200 plus hour game to get the video game console, and then get all of the games to even have a chance, not to play the games, to have the ability to get the trophy. You have to get pretty far in. I hold no bad feelings about cheesing it for Goldfinger, because then that brings us to Legendary Phantom Thief. The ultra rare 2.4% of other players have this trophy, platinum trophy. Now, I talked about in previous episodes of the show how I pick up pop figurines for video games that I platinum. And for this one, I picked up Joker. For Persona 5 Dancing, I have a little Mona, but for Persona 5 Vanilla, I picked up and I use Joker as my little character. I ended up using what fans of Persona have dubbed as the harem team. I used Ana, Haru, and Makoto for my main team, and then I ended up mixing it up here and there when need be for the second playthrough and the twins fights. Now, I love this game. I have never played a game like this, but because of this game, I went back and bought Persona 3, Persona 4. I bought the PlayStation Classic so I can play Persona 1, Revelations. I love this game. And I wish I could platinum every single one of those games, but I don't have a Vita. So unfortunately, my love for Persona will stay with Persona 5. Because I just don't have the time to go back to those earlier games, or the money to buy a Vita with Persona 4 Golden on it, and really delve into everything those games have. That being said, I am working on spin-off games that are much more accessible for fans to get, that I will be talking about in future episodes, but that is it for today. That is all I got for today. Persona 5. I do not recommend you going for this platinum trophy. It takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication. But if you have that time and dedication, go for it. Fucking treat yourself. Because after platinuming Persona 5, I still wanted more. I wanted more time with these characters. I wanted more time in this world. I planned a whole trip to Japan that got canceled thanks to the coronavirus. All about this game. And one day I will take that trip. And I will lose my fucking mind when I do. But until then, this has been Tales of the Hunts. My name is Insane Raven. And I will see you next time.